Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I'm Ethan Simi, and today I'm joined by three wonderful guests. First up is Ema Sasic.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
Next up is Sophia Ciminello.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
And finally, Zachary Lee.
Great to be here. It's been too long. Happy to be back.
And today we are drafting movies on Letterboxd in a regular style draft. And I know that it sounds extremely broad because that's literally what Letterboxd is made to do, is track movies. But we have stipulations in place, which we will talk about here in just a little bit. So the name of this draft is the Letterboxd Draft, which may be a slightly deceiving to some people, but we'll get into it here in just a minute. Ema, welcome to the pod. The last time you were here was for the 2016 draft. Welcome back for another regular draft, which is exciting.
I know, it is exciting, and hopefully everyone is very prepared for this one. Our friend Danny last time had no
Yes.
idea what was going on, and that was very fun. But that was a really fun time, so I'm always happy to be back.
Yeah, that was a very good time. That is pretty crucial to movie draft pod lore. I know it didn't happen like too long ago, but definitely stuck around in the canon over here. I will say I provided a list that somebody else made for this draft so as to hopefully give us some prepared nature and learn from our troubles with Danny, who I don't know if he has since been back. You know what? He has. He was part of the Hans Zimmer debacle. It's a little difficult to talk about now because we're pre-recording this draft so far in advance and the timelines are all out of sync. But congratulations, Danny. You came in second place and I rocked your world. But there was debate about if I played by the rules or not. So.
And you did win on the 2016
I did
podcast too. So
yeah. It
it's
seems
rigged
like
around here.
Common denominator is I gotta have Danny on the pod, and then I end up coming away with a win. Sophia, the last time we recorded, nobody won because we did the top 25 movies of the 21st century, part 1, an episode that will be out by the time that this pod comes out, but when we're recording is not out to the public. So we can't, I guess we can talk about it. We don't know how that ends. We don't know how part 2 ends, but you're here for a regular draft this time, which is different and exciting. Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, I'm excited to do a regular draft. The collaborative draft was such an interesting experience. I did really like it. It was just so, I think, unique because we just did one part of that list. So I'm like, how did we do? We also had all, I feel like, very different tastes and opinions on what should be included. And we were also trying to figure out okay, what should be kind of on the bottom half of this top 25. So I think it'll be a really, really fun listen, but this is going to be today will be a completely different exercise altogether.
Super interesting that we're recording this before that episode goes out. So Ema, Zach, you guys haven't had a chance to listen. You don't know how the part 1 even came out.
That's wild.
Which is pretty crazy. I like to do this. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to divulge what the list is real quick. Listeners will already know this and will already know how 12 through 1 ended up panning out. So this could be a very futile exercise here, but I'm curious, Ema, Zach, to maybe see your facial reactions. 25, super bad. 24, First Cow. 23, Almost Famous. 22, Y Tu Mama Tambien. 21, Synecdoche, New York. 20, After Sun. 19, The Tree of Life, 18, Past Lives, 17, Old Boy, 16, Signs, 15, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, 14, Spider-Man 2, and 13, Killers of the Flower Moon. That is what we came up with for part 1.
Okay.
I will ask, because again, we're in such a unique time slot here. How do you feel, Sophia, not knowing the part 1? How do you feel now? We've been removed from recording that draft for a week or two now. Are you feeling like we made the right choices?
It's so funny because since recording, this great New York Times list has been coming out, and a lot of our picks, I would say, are lower on that list. Some of them have come
not
up.
Ideal.
They're not quite top 25 picks, but I don't know. I think I think it's fun. It's definitely an eclectic list, and I think we were also just trying because we had the one director rule, one movie per director, that not to, I guess, go for any of the big guns necessarily right away. So I think that's what I'm excited to learn. But yeah, I think it's, maybe not perfect, but lists are subjective. So It's fun.
Sure. Yeah, it is pretty serendipitous timing that the New York Times article has come out a couple of weeks before our episodes will come out. We, in fact, had these episodes planned for about 6 months. And so we do not assume any copyright infringement for what New York Times is putting out, which will, in fact, be a much better list than ours. But I stand by Superbad at 25. I think Kevin made a great choice there. Zach, welcome back to the pod. You haven't been on this show for a very long time, since episode 13. We are now on episode 81. So I think that's the longest
crazy.
Stretches between guest appearances ever. You were here for the A24 auction draft, which,
That's right.
again, a different style of draft that is much different than a regular or a collaborative. Welcome to the pod. How are you feeling about being on a regular draft now?
This is exciting. No, it's fun. I was like, wait, am I on podcast timeout right now from movie draft? What did I do to do this real fast? No, it's been fun. I feel like, yeah, like just as I think as you were saying, Sophie, just like the whole like New York Times list, I think coming out, I was like, that's actually really helpful because I have not done my ballot yet or submitted that. So I feel like doing this exercise was like super helpful. To kind of think through what I'm making this what I like. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I'm stoked that you're back. The A24 auction draft was a great time. I think that, again, another key lore moment for the draft in the fact that I put up First Reformed and I tried to take that as a horror film, and apparently nobody believed me. So look, I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking horrific on a lot of different fronts, but whatever, guys.
Well, with this heat wave, I'm like an environmental angle. It's like becoming more pressing. So that's it. Just speaks to the testament of when we recorded versus looking at it now. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Look, 70 episodes later, I haven't let it go. I haven't let it go at all. Let's talk about what we're doing today, not what we did in episode 13. Today we are drafting movies from Letterboxd. Now, I'll say the one stipulation for this, so people aren't drawn on for too long about what this could possibly mean, we do have categories based on ratings curves, and then we have one big stipulation, similar to kind of what we did for the top 25 of the 21st century, in that we could only pick one director for the list, or one movie per director on the list. We have here that a movie has to have been watched 2 million times to be included in this draft. So I provided you guys with a list that someone else graciously, wonderfully made that included 200 movies. I'm sure there are more out there on Letterboxd. And of course, as this episode ages, there will be more and more movies that will in fact become eligible. So maybe we'll revisit this in the future. But that's kind of like what we're pinpointing here in the broad Letterboxd term of everything. Emma, I'll start with you. Letterboxd, very crucial to the film community, very crucial for all of us, and kind of connecting and displaying what we watch to everybody else. What do you like most about it? What's your connection to it? Any feelings toward Letterboxd as a whole?
So many feelings toward Letterboxd. I think I've been a member since either 2017 or 2018, like way back. I remember in college, my friend like showing me this new app, and I just thought it was so much fun, and I still think it's so much fun. I think it's probably like the purest and sweetest social media app that we have, because you just get to talk about things that you really like and explain why you like a film, or try to explain why it didn't really work for you. And I just like that it involves some critical thinking skills, which I think are missing in many other social media apps. So I'm a huge fan of it. I just am so happy to see how much they've expanded and grown and changed over the years. And it's literally probably my most used app on my phone, aside from like text messaging. So I'm a huge fan.
I think it's really funny that you mentioned that, and how that is such like a great kind of, maybe innocent is like not the right word, but it is definitely a different social space than a lot of the other social platforms out there. I will say, I'm of course, in preparing for this draft and getting things ready on my monitor over here, Charlie XCX just logged Final Destination's Bloodline and said huge pre-Glastonbury viewing for me and George. Where else are you going to get that content? Like that is good shit that Letterboxd is letting me experience. I read that, I got happy, and I was like, oh yeah, I do need to watch Bloodline. So this is great for Letterboxd and the Charlie community. What about you, Sophia? What's your relationship to Letterboxd? How long have you been a member? All of the things.
Yeah, I would say probably about as long as you, Emma. Like it was right around that time, like 2017, 2018, when I really started to get into it. And I've always been a list maker like my whole life. I
Mm.
feel like even growing up, when I would see movies, I would write down in a notebook the movies I watched that year and I would give them star ratings or would make little comments. So this is
No.
just kind of a natural segue, I feel like, for that. I really like making lists. I love to like on the patron side of things, getting to change the posters and the backdrop pictures. It's just so fun. Again, I think it goes into that like wholesome idea of this app. Definitely one of my most used apps for sure. And I just like, I don't know, I like seeing everyone's four favorites. It's such a good way also to just discover new films, new directors, and just keep track of what your friends are watching. And by friends, I mean people I know and Charlie XCX, of course.
Yes.
Always
Yeah.
has to be Charlie XCX.
Mhm.
She's included. Yeah.
I love that she's in her letterbox era. You talk about list making, a very crucial key segment of Letterboxd. Of course, tracking things that you watch at festivals, ranking things at festivals, ranking things for entire years has become a crucial aspect of. I feel like not only Letterboxd, but like social media outside of Letterboxd. We were just talking about the New
Mhm.
York Times article, but I feel like every day, at least on Twitter, there is some Letterboxd prompt that somebody put out of a new favorite four or kind of a micro genre list or other things that people engage with. So that list making aspect is really, really ideal and a huge part of Letterboxd. Zach, you have a very special relationship with Letterboxd. I wanted to be sure that you were on this Letterboxd draft because of that relationship. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Letterboxd? I know you went to Sundance and did some Letterboxd reviews. Do you use it for lists as well? Do you change the posters like all of us psychopaths, or how are you using Letterboxd these days?
I do love a good poster change. I was just looking now and someone just did a really cool one for Megan 2.0. So I might have to change that whenever I
Nice.
see that one when it comes out. But to your point, Sophia, I feel like I love the list, but I've been really into like the hyper specific lists, where it'll be
Mhm.
like it'll be like two movies or a couple
Mhm.
movies. And I think for me, it just speaks like I love putting movies in conversation. So I love seeing like the random connections people make. Like I think I was talking to a friend who was explaining how Twister is the new movie and then Aliens, they're basically the same film where it's like these group of
Mm.
specialists are trying to chase this big nature for and I'm like, I never thought of it that way. I thought that was really funny. Or I saw another list that was based that was called it's called White People Did What? They Got Stuck Where? And it's just the first movie is Fall.
Mhm.
It's like that one where like the two girls, I think, are on like the mute or
Yeah.
whatever. So it can be
That's so
funny.
funny.
It can be, more serious. I think lately, I don't know if you guys agree with this. Like, I love the special quirks or features for certain movies when you log it. Like, I
Yeah,
just logged my Mission Impossible review and I completely forgot the app
the
does that
greatest.
whole thing where like your phone shut
Mhm.
and like I almost had a panic attack. I'm like, what did I do? Like, why why is it gonna shut? I'm like, oh wait, it's a bit. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it was all fine. So even little personality things like that. I'm like, this is fun. It just makes it an enjoyable experience. So that's always really fun.
Yeah, some of those like little quirks of Letterboxd are really fun. Of course, some of the more widely known ones, if you log Barbie and you heart it, it will be a pink heart instead of
Mhm.
the
Oh,
regular
cool.
orange heart. If you log or mention that you view Everything Everywhere All at Once, it will be an eyeball instead of the eye like icon, which is pretty cool. It'll be a googly eye. If you try to log a movie after midnight, I believe a gremlin will pop up in your browser, which is really exciting
Oh.
as well. So yeah, lots of really cool things. I will give a shout because we're talking about kind of lists and other things that we do here. Sophie, founding member of this podcast, she has a great list on her Letterboxd, a summer's watch list. And now that we are officially in summer, this podcast will come out in like the dead middle of summer. So people will be definitely feeling the heat. It's a great watch list of 60 films that invoke summer. There's lots of Romare on there and there's lots of great summer things. So if you're looking for something like that, again, like kind of why Letterboxd is so cool and so important. My story with Letterboxd, I'm not proud about it, and it's not ideal. But if I was ever going to mention it, I feel like maybe I have in the past, but I will spend a moment to do so. I started getting really big into movies in 2019 after seeing Joker and Uncut Gems. And I was like, wow, movies are cool. And maybe I care about them, like, and want to make them my whole life. So I did that. And I watched Joker, and a really good friend at the time, I was like, we got to talk about Joker. Like, this is the craziest thing. Of course, before I had seen Taxi Driver and all of the dozens and dozens of other movies that it was pulling from at that time. I didn't know any of that had been previously done in movies. And we made our own podcast. Shout out to Final Take Podcast, a pod that has been long and dead and buried for now, but really started the kind of era of movie watching. So Joker was the third movie that I logged on Letterboxd. I had no idea what Letterboxd was before that. I was not part of the film community. I didn't know about movies pretty much at all. And I didn't really understand Letterboxd back then either. I was just writing like extremely deadpan reviews of like visually creative, lack of dialogue. And I was just like not in the same space that I am now. The first movie I ever logged on Letterboxd was Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and that'll forever be cemented. And that's truly an unfortunate occasion. It went The Rise of Skywalker, 1917, Joker, Parasite. So you can tell I was in the 2019 Oscar campaign of things right after Rise of Skywalker. Really incredible stuff back then. And some of those ratings, boy, have I grown. It feels really good to be in this space now. Letterboxd is a very cool, virtual diary for that aspect. I know they call it your diary, but it is really, really neat to go back and see those things. So we will be using Letterboxd as our North Star, as our guiding light here on this draft. Any strategy that went into this draft on your guys' part? I know I mentioned I provided a list of kind of the 2 million watch club. Is there anything that you guys found difficult to prepare for this draft?
I would say that there were certain categories where it was such a limited number of films that do belong in there. So I feel like I have the 4 choices that I can only have. And so it's only a question of which one will I be able to use for that. But there were other ones where like an immense number of films could fit under there. And now it's just a question of, again, which one am I going to use for that? Which one of these do I love? They're all my children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was surprised too, like how many recent films have already had 2 million logs on Letterboxd. That was another thing, just looking at some of them, like some of my favorites from the past like year or two that were there. But then, yeah, Emma, I agree with you. I think some of the like thinner categories was like, well, I'm getting this one, or it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
It's literally like number 1 choice, alternate number 1, alternate number 2, alternate number 3.
A lot of like franchise films too, I know, which I guess makes it, being the most popular. But it is interesting, I think, about like when Letterboxd was like created. I forget the exact like when it was made, but like, are people logging, rewatching? Like, I feel like people always say like, oh, I watched like this old, like maybe before 2000 was in the movie, like multiple times or something. Like, are there restraints based off of just maybe when the app was made too? It's just something funny to think about. But I think with other things, like I will not reveal which ones now, but there's actually a lot I haven't seen. And so part of my strategy is like, do I pick it because I think, it's popular in the zeitgeist? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Even though, I haven't seen it or not. So that's been part of the strategy off the balance.
Yeah. That's always a difficult quandary, a difficult pickle to find yourself in, is the watched versus not watched, and do I draft it? I've been known to do both, and I will just say from my experience, if you draft a movie that you haven't watched and you win, it feels pretty fucking good. So, I say more power to you if that's the route you want to go. I know listeners will disagree with that take, but whatever. It's my pod. We can do whatever we want here. There is a lot of franchise movies, of course. I know the 2 million watched, of course, kind of inducts a lot of those things. I'm looking at this list, though. There are some new movies on here within the last 5 years that I just did not anticipate to be at least on this list of 200 that we are kind of sharing. Of course, there are probably things outside of this list. I did not have enough time to scrub my diary of hundreds of movies to find things that were 2 million watch. I will say, it is interesting when you try and do kind of a data scrub like this. And I know this is getting really nerdy with Letterboxd, but it is a little bit difficult to kind of curate some of these things, maybe like a 2 million watch list, there's not a great way to like find those things other than personally made lists. So Letterboxd, you can sponsor this episode and maybe we can work together to fix the data scrubbing here, because I am very interested in getting all of the data that I can. There's no draft or no prep work that I did for this draft other than just figuring out which movies apply for which categories, to be honest with you. I'm in the middle of moving homes, and I am my brain is a little bit frazzled. So maybe you guys are catching me at a good time. That little advantage for all of you, but we will see. I think the small category issue will be prominent here in the first round. I'm mostly curious to see if that's a first round problem, or if people like, let's kick the can down the road and see who opens the floodgates first. I'm really fascinated, always interested to see what happens there. Okay. Is there anything that you guys think will be a first pick, or a first round pick at least, where it's like we're all going to be in your mind like vying for one movie? Maybe not.
I don't really know. I feel like there's so much variety in a lot of the categories, especially of the really good movies. I think that like some of our favorites might be really different. So we might all have like a different top pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see
I
that.
think it'll just be some of the categories that are really limited. I could see us just being like, we're not friends anymore. We're going for it. It's the Hunger Games.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that happening. Well, let's see what happens. Let's dive into it. Let's do the Letterboxd Draft here on the Movie Draft Podcast. I will quickly run through the rules, the categories, and then we will spin for our positions here. So in order to be eligible for this draft, the Letterboxd Draft, a movie must reside within the rating curve of the categories that we have identified, that I will mention here in just a second, as well as be part of the 2 million watched club. That means it must have at least 2 million members on Letterboxd. So if you're looking at a film on Letterboxd, if you look right below the poster, there are 3 icons that you can see. And one of those icons is an eyeball. And that is the number that we are looking at here. Any movie that can be drafted here today will have over 2.0 million eyeballs logged. So very important to note here for this draft. Let's talk about the categories. We're each going to be drafting teams of 6. This is a regular style draft, meaning it'll be snake style. So drafter 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way until we fill out our teams. The categories are as follows. A average rating of 4.5 to 5.0. That is one category. And then the rest of the categories will kind of follow on suit with that. So it'll be 4.0 to 4.4, 3.5 to 3.9, 3.0 to 3.4, 2.5 to 2.9, and then we will get a wild card category. Now, the thing here that could go awry is that certain movies are only eligible for certain categories, of course, and certain categories are a little slim. If someone decides to maybe use their wild card on a category that has a slim amount of movies, that might be uncharted territory for us in terms of draft.
That's
and
just evil.
I would strike it as evil as well.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that.
You're all such
you are
sweet
evil.
people. You're also so
You're also
innocent and
nice.
so sweet. I thought about it. I will say, I thought about it. I don't want to deal with the logistical fallout of what might happen with that, so maybe let's not and try to steer away. But again, do what your heart tells you to do. So let's spin for our spots, and let's do the Letterboxd draft here. Okay, so I do have the spinner. This is live here on the phone. I'm gonna tap it, and we are gonna get the spin going. I need pick number 1. I'll just put that out there in the world, and what do you fucking know? God damn it. You love to see it. Yeah, baby. You love to see it.
I think you're going to take the one I want.
I can't believe that just happened to me.
I'm excited.
That's incredible. Now that I have spot number 1, I'm panicking because now I don't know what to do. I thought I knew what to do. Okay. So Zach is going to be drafting second, and I will click on the spinner here for Emma and Sophia, and we will lock down what the draft order is. Okay. Looks like Emma's going to be third. Sophia, you're going to be at the turn. How are you feeling on the turn?
I like a turn. I like a turn.
Okay.
2 in a row. I mean, we'll see what happens. A lot will be determined early, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I think so. So I will be pick number 1. Zach, you got 2. Emma, you got 3. Sophia, you are at the turn. All right, let me fill out our drafting notes here as we get ready to do this, and hopefully vamp to provide myself a little bit more time to figure out exactly what I want to do for the first pick of the Letterboxd Draft. Okay. So I'll just be forthright with you, okay? I'll be forthright with you guys. I looked at this list that we all have access to. And I just made a note about where a certain size curve starts and where it ends. That way I know anything within that span on the list I could take. So with that in mind, I'm getting a little bit paranoid of 2 categories. We've got the lower rated ones, and then we've got the higher rated ones. Feel like that's our slimmest options here. Okay. I'm trying to do some thinking real fast. Guys, gotta give me a second here. Okay, so in theory, there are 6 movies that could apply to 4.5 to 5.0. That's slim, and I'm not enjoying that. And then the other one, there's more. There's 11 movies that you could pick from 2.5 to 2.9.
I'm surprised
Really?
there were 6 for the first one. I thought that there were only 4 for that category.
Oh,
Maybe I don't know how to count.
maybe I shouldn't reveal my strategy. Maybe I
think
should.
he has a
maybe I
strategy
should just
that
keep
we
it to
don't,
myself.
because I don't think I counted right either for some
I did
God
not
damn it.
count
He's just
it.
making up numbers right now. He's like,
He
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
4.
There's actually 17 to choose from in that category.
Who would have thought?
Well, that's interesting. That's fascinating. I wonder what'll happen. Okay. All right. Let's start with the low ball. I'm not enjoying the 2.5 to 2.9. It's a little scary. Kind of want to get that off the board, get it out fast. So I'm going to be taking what I unequivocally think is the best movie in this category, and I think kind of everything else is dog shit. I'm going to be taking Star Wars: The Last Jedi, ranked at.
That's the only number 1 pick that you
It's
can make.
exactly. This is true.
It's got a 2.9 on Letterboxd, which frankly is a farce. It's a crime. This movie's fantastic. I love it. I don't want to get into the Last Jedi discourse right now because I think it's just unbelievably psychotic and stupid that people waste their energy on this. And I love this movie. And this was really the only pick in this category.
Yeah.
I feel really good.
I'm not a comic book girl, so this is going to be interesting, like I said.
Me too.
This is really, yeah.
This like was my answer to the question you asked earlier of like, is there a number 1 pick? I think this is like unequivocally the answer, but I didn't want to give anyone any ideas just in case they hadn't thought of it yet.
Yeah. It's wild, you know. Every episode we record, Sophia, we just become more and more intertwined in our movie taste.
It's
true. Can't believe it.
It's so true. We have a lot of overlap.
We do. Hopefully, and yet to be determined, hopefully Phantom Thread makes that top list. I don't know what has happened yet because we're living in the past. I don't know.
But we can't draft it today. Today we can't fight about it.
Well, that's true. I don't think it's. I think it's pretty far off from 2 million logs.
It's pretty far.
I gotta say,
it's pretty far down. I didn't even check actually, but I would bet that it's far.
I'm sure that it is. All right, I feel really good about that. Not much to say on The Last Jedi. I've talked about it ad nauseum on many podcasts and social media spaces. I love it. Zach, you have the next pick.
Yeah, it's funny because I was literally before I was like, the amount of time that how many fake accounts can you take and log movies so they can get on this thing. But I was like, you know what, it's too much trouble. We're not going to do it. We'll just go off of what we have here. That would have been my pick too. I think next though, which I feel like will coast, I think, off of certain elements of it, even if it's not perfect. I'm going to go with Doctor Strange. So I'm hoping the Raimi kind of and Elizabeth Olsen kind of combo can propel that and make it. The fans can come out for that one. And I do feel like it's it's very fun visually. I feel like now that I've seen more of Sam Raimi's stuff, I'm like, I think when I first saw the movie, I don't think I'd even seen like Evil Dead or other movies. So it's just like, I think
Mm,
I understand more of what his filmmaking kind of tips and tricks are. And it's fun to see that employed on a bigger scale like that, as much as you can do in the MCU machines. So, yeah.
yeah. It's fascinating that we both went for movies that are a 2.9 and the category being a 2.5 to 2.9. We're definitely on that
It's
upper
really,
echelon
really
here.
close. Yeah.
Um, kind of, I feel like starkly different picks because people are like still really sour about The Last Jedi and Multiverse of Madness. Like people are really the
Oh,
hive is strong for Multiverse of Madness. I feel like the
that's
Raimi
fascinating.
heads.
Okay.
I feel like we'll find you.
They're like it.
I I haven't rewatched this since theaters. I remember digging the musical fight. I thought that was like pretty neat. Other
I
than
thought
that,
that
I
was
was like, oh, not for me. Okay. Not what I would have picked as a second pick. I'll just put that out there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Try and degrade you a little bit as we
Yeah,
enter the
no,
draft.
I don't second guess. I'm like, no, I'm
Oh,
like,
interesting.
what
Yeah.
sequels to recent
Mm.
franchises, I'm
Ah,
like, maybe there's the Fantastic Four tie-in. I don't know what's the,
there
forgot
you
John
go.
Krasinski's in there. The movies are fantastic. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I got
MCU. Maybe it'll come back.
yeah.
Okay. Emma, you have a pick.
Yes, I'm going to switch categories for this. I'm going to go to the 4.5 to 5.0
Oh, no.
because I want to take a really good one that I really, really love. And I'm going to be
Yeah.
mean and I'm going to take Parasite for this one.
Great
Damn.
pick.
Damn.
I just love that movie so much. And I was just like, I need to have it if I can at any point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Not making my Last Jedi pick look great. Obviously, going up
No.
against Parasite.
That's okay. That's okay. I have plenty of room to falter from here on out.
Great story.
Parasite, notably the second highest rated film on this list that we have. It's rated at a 4.5. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, not much to say about Parasite. I hope it made the top 25 list. I guess.
I hope so.
I feel like we're going to be saying that for a lot of these movies.
I know.
And listeners are going to be like, you guys
Fingers
are so
crossed.
dumb. It's either on or off the
Yeah.
list. We already knew. Okay. Yeah, not much to be said about Parasite. It's unequivocally one of the best ever. So you have now broken the barrier of 4.5 to 5.0. And that's got me nervous because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 more picks. So it comes back to me. So I might be cooked. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. You got 2, Sophia.
I have 2. Okay, so I'm going to stick with where Emma was. I'm going to stay in the 4.5 to 5.0 range.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take, I think, the best movie on the list, which is The Godfather.
That's a good one. Very good one.
I got to see this again in theaters actually with my dad for Father's Day. And it is just like one of those movies this is going to sound silly, but it's a movie and a film. Like you can, watch it and really, I think, like marvel at the acting and the, what it's saying about America and the mafia, but it's also just like that thing moves. Like it is a like thrilling experience and just one of the all-time greats, one of my favorite Best Picture winners. What can you say about The Godfather? Like Parasite, right? What can you really say about it? But I had to snag it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 girls are rocking it tonight already.
Yeah, not feeling. I do think it's interesting that like Zach and I went for the low ball and you guys went high, and that we kind of did the category split. So I wonder if that was like the least lethal attack for things. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that is kind of giving the most even playing field for everybody. But I guess yet to be seen.
Well,
Godfather's pretty
funny. Good. Yeah, it's just funny because Emma and I almost are just kind of like, you know what, this like low group, like she and I we'll figure it out, whichever one, whichever bad movie we end up getting. I don't know. But then the big ones, it's like, okay, it's another limited category, and they're all good
Mhm.
movies, but like this one, I think definitely is the one I have the strongest personal
Mm.
connection to. Also, so like if I'm just picking a movie I really love, I always want my draft board to feel like me, even though I'm competitive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's a good call.
So my next pick, I mean, for me, honestly, like the 3.0 to 3.4 category was also a little slim,
Okay.
but
3.0 to
Trying to
3.4. Interesting. You trying to drum up some paranoia here in everybody?
maybe
Okay.
a little
That's
bit
good.
of
Yeah.
it.
I will agree though. It is a swim. I'm looking at what I had
It
my
is. It is.
potentials, and I'm like, yeah,
Interesting.
that's
And
wild.
I think I'm going to follow my heart here, and I'm going to go in this category because I think like of what's left in the lowest category, like again, I haven't seen some of them, so we'll see what I pick.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go here, and I'm just going to plead for the votes. Honestly, I'm gonna see what people online will give me. I don't think it's what any of you guys would pick. It has a 3.0 rating. I'm going with Twilight.
I knew you were gonna do
That
it.
was
Yes.
yeah,
That was my pick. Oh.
that's a
I I
good pick.
saw this 7 times in theaters when it came out. I was just so obsessed with Robert Pattinson. I know it's
This
not a
is my
good
soul
movie,
sister.
Yeah. We all are.
hence like the rating. I understand, but for me, this was a very important film, and I know
Mhm.
like the people who get it, and they'll see it on my board
Yeah,
next to The
yeah,
Godfather, and they'll be like, okay,
She gets it.
A woman with taste. That's what
Yeah.
that
yeah,
category will tell us.
cool.
Mhm.
I just rewatched all of the Twilight films last year just cuz, and
hmm
best decision, I like, literally the best week of my life was just spent in front of the TV watching a new movie
yeah.
every single night.
And like
So
they're
cool.
so bad. Some of them are so
I
horrible. Like
know. I
as
know.
they get going later on, you're just like, what's going on here? We have fully lost
Mhm.
the plot. But
Doesn't
that
even
first
matter.
one, when Edward, like they walk up to school, he has the Ray-Bans on. He like hilariously stops the car from hitting her. Like there are just so many good moments.
Uh,
It's funny that you talk about it in this fashion because I find this to be true of a lot of the lower rated films. If you look at their curves on Letterboxd, they, in the case of Twilight, it does have a 3.0 average, but there are nearly 287,000 5-star ratings for this movie. So
That's what I'm
like
saying.
people love these movies, and it's the same with The Last Jedi. It's the same with Multiverse of Madness. Like there are people out there that just like this is their movie. I haven't revisited Twilight since like seeing it in high school, and I don't remember. I've kind of blacked out everything that happened
hmm
before like 2 years ago. So I don't know, but I feel like I'm due for a watch. I was in a bar one time that was playing a Twilight movie, and it was like the battle where they're on the ice. That's the thing,
I
right?
know exactly,
Yeah.
yes, what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Went to this
It
bar
is
and
like
I was like, this
a
bar
bar.
cooks. Like, yeah, this bar is awesome. It was like
Bar.
immediately a very cool bar. So, oh man, yeah, The Godfather Twilight. That's woo. Got the 1-2. Dang.
I feel like
I
with
tried.
Twilight, the Twilight Legacy endures that because I think one of the most popular reviews for Mickey 17 or something like this is the
Mm.
freshly printed skin of an expendable Bella or something like that. So, which I find great. So it's like I feel like it's still any Robert Pattinson movie. It's a movie that has its fans and will follow regardless of
hmm
the movie. So I think it makes
Yeah,
sense. It's a good pick, yeah.
Thanks.
it's a good pick. It's a really fascinating category. And I want to
It
want to
is.
revisit that. It is maybe the wildest collection of
Yeah.
IP misfires that I've ever seen in my life. So
So many.
we'll visit that as we continue to go here. Damn. I feel like as is the case with a lot of regular style drafts, the person that gets the turn, it's the first person to have 2 movies on their team, so it's the first person that you can really start to surmise where they're going with their team.
Yeah.
And The Godfather and Twilight, I'm deeply worried that we have all lost already. So
Mhm.
American classics. I think that's
they
the
are,
theme.
they really are. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
American classics. Yeah, run
Find
that at
a
the
specific
Cinematheque.
thing that connects them to make your own list for it. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
The overarching theme.
Yes.
A thematic connection.
Okay, Emma, you have a pick.
I'm gonna go back to the 2.5 to 2.9 just because of the slim pickings, and I'm gonna pick Captain Marvel for this one. I know,
Nice.
I know that that movie was also very much hated on. I actually didn't really mind it. I mean, cute little cat in that movie, and Brie Larson and Jude Law. I think right that it was a whole fever dream. It feels like 50 years
It
ago that I
is.
watched this
Yeah.
film, but
Yeah.
I seem to remember coming away with like, you know what, that actually wasn't too bad. So
Jude Law
I
plays a
am
character named Jan Rog, in case you forgot. That's what's
I
happening
did
in that
forget,
movie.
and you know what?
I forgot
It
that.
solidifies why I chose this pick.
That's good.
I couldn't be
Yeah.
happier now, so thank you for that fun fact.
Yeah, just doing what I can. Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Jude Law, Annette Bening, Lee Pace, Lashana Lynch. It's got all. I
Oh,
mean, it's got the pieces.
stacked
So,
cast.
Tough beat for Captain Marvel. Okay. Yes, this is the second lowest one here on this list at a 2.7. Far less 5 stars here. About 4% of that curve is a 5 star. So a little anti-Twilight power, but yeah, Brie Larson innocent. I wish that her MCU stint ended up being better. What are you gonna do? Tough.
Me too.
But she got built and she got money, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, she did. Yes,
She
we all
got her
support
check.
that.
Yes.
She got a
Mhm.
check, and they all did.
Does she have anything coming up? What's her future
She's
looking like? Do you guys
she
know?
truly is a marvel to me because I never
Yeah.
know what she's got going on in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really
We've
don't
got-
know.
Oh yeah.
That's-
See, this is interesting because she basically goes from Captain Marvel in 2019, does a big Avengers stint, right, with Miss Marvel. She does the Marvels. She does Fast X in there, kind of hits the paycheck machine. And then gives us a couple years ago some voice work in Scott Pilgrim, an animated series. She does lessons in chemistry. And then the only other thing coming up on our IMDb is an untitled Brie Larson spy thriller, which is a TV series.
Oh.
So not to be that guy, but like people relegated her to the TV space. And that is kind of a crime because she is an Academy Award winning actress, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy too because she, like, if you look at her 2010s, like she did Spectacular Now, short term 12, and then she has her Oscar win for Room. So it's like she was a very promising, I think, like up and coming indie actress who was doing these small dramas. And then she just fully pivots to franchise. And I feel like she's just stuck there and hasn't left.
Yeah. I recently watched Don John for the first time in preparation for the Scarlett Johansson collaborative draft. I swear to you, I had my Letterboxd review typed up of, hey, it's a crime to put Brie Larson in your movie and not have her speak. And then she speaks in the last 90 seconds of that movie. And I had to scrap the review and turn it into something else, but still a crime to only have her like deliver 2 lines of dialogue in a film.
Crazy.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
her
crazy.
and Ariana DeBose like post-Oscar
Oh.
win careers are like
Ooh.
so fascinating to me where it's like,
Yeah.
what
Crazy.
happened? Like, why did it go in this direction?
Right.
So interesting.
Ariana DeBose. Wow.
Yeah. God.
Wow.
God help her. Not appearing on this Letterboxd list, I don't think, Ariana DeBose. Unfortunately or fortunately. Okay, Zach, you have a pick.
Yes, I know. I think their instinct to go for that middle, like the 3 to 3.4 category, is kind of where I'm leaning, kind of just like ramping, just going in ascending order at this point. I feel I'm gonna go on. This was honestly the section I had the least amount of time to properly research, so I'm just gonna pick something, and I think I enjoy it still, and I think it's only just more relevant. But I'm gonna go with Glass Onion and I think it's exactly 3.4. So
Nice.
yeah. And on it,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoy it. I mean, maybe it's like the whole summer vibe, the fact that we get Wake Up Dead Man coming out this year. I feel like it's skewering of like tech bros. It's like, yeah, we need this. Please have more of this. I think this is great. So lots to love. I feel like everyone's just really fun. Like I think like seeing Kate Hudson be really like flamboyant and just kind of vapid in that way, or like Dave Bautista stretching his comedic muscles, and Janelle Monáe, of course, too. So it's just, I don't know. It's one of those like I've been meaning to watch it more than I have, because every time I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this would make for a fun like rewatch. I think it's something I want to do. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah. This was one of my
Mm.
backups for this category just because I do feel like it's a really fun one. And I remember just being kind of bummed that it went to Netflix and didn't have a bigger
that's true.
theatrical run, because I feel like it
Yep.
would have been, and it did really well, I think, in the few theaters that it went to, but it just would have had, I think, such a good theatrical run at the holidays if it was there. But yeah, I agree with you. Kate Hudson, I think, is so fun in this.
Yeah,
Love seeing her just like the flowy dresses as she's walking outside too. It's great. So I like this pick too.
yeah.
It's a good pick. I agree with what Sophia said. I wish we weren't in the Netflix machine. Of course, lots more coming out of the Netflix machine later in the year,
Mhm.
and news on a pretty constant basis that Netflix is locking up a lot of our best directors and best ideas and putting them on their streamer. All right. So you've got that 3.0 to 3.4. I thought my strategy of like just writing the range would be helpful, and I'm realizing not very helpful because I'm undecided on a lot of these spaces. So I'm going to start with a space that I do feel more decided on. I'm going to be revisiting the 4.5 to 5.0. So I'll be the third pick out of this category, which I guess is maybe slightly foolish because there are still a handful of good things here. But I feel okay about the size and depth of the other categories that we've got. So in 4.5 to 5.0, I will be taking the broiest of films, and I will be taking Goodfellas because it's Goodfellas, and what more do you want? I was recently at my mother-in-law's house and visiting family for the weekend for a graduation. We flipped on the TV at her home, and lo and behold, the cabana scene ended up popping up on television, and I made my 5 and 7-year-old daughters stand in front of the television and watch that scene. And I said, everybody witness the birth of greatness here. This changed movies forever. And people were disinterested, which is, unfortunate, but I tried my hardest.
Indoctrinate them early.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Try
Exactly.
again.
I'm trying. I do have the only full-size movie poster I have in my office in my home is Goodfellas. So they see it. They
There we
know.
go.
And I guarantee you in 20 years, they're going to be like, my dad had a Goodfellas poster, which, hate to be one of those dads, but someone's got to do it. Okay. So I've got Goodfellas, which has a 4.5. 4.5 on this list. In the effort to vamp slightly to figure out what my next play is here, I'll revisit the Phantom Thread. 651K. A little off from the 2 million. Sorry, Sophia.
I'm shocked that I haven't logged it 2 million times. I tried, but
Exactly.
I've come up short.
I am surprised. Yeah. Okay, how's 3.0 to 3.4 looking? Sophia's done it. Zach's done it. I feel okay. I really want my pick of the litter with other things. It is startling
the Last
to
Jedi
see some of
and
these movies.
Goodfellas looks
Yeah.
good. That's a good. You have a good pair.
It looks good to me. Looks good to me.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. I've got a 2017 film, 1990s. I feel like I got to thread the needle on some of this here. Zach, you do make a good point about kind of being plugged into the culture when these come out, and
That might
seeing
be
if
me just trying to like justify that. We'll see how it turns out. I'm like, this is relevant, right? That's why this is working. So we'll see.
I think that's a great way to go. I really do, because it does determine a lot of the vote. Okay, well, I'm gonna go with what my heart was telling me. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, because we do have a wildcard category, don't we? Okay. I'm going to go 3.5 to 3.9. I'm going to break forth a new category here. And I'm going to try and find it before I speak on it because, God, how terrible would that be if it didn't apply for the category and I tried to draft it? Which has been known to happen before. I'm going to be taking a little movie. It's a pretty good flick for the summertime. Kind of invented summer blockbusters, if you will. I'll be taking Jaws.
Yeah,
Good one. Good one.
that's a good one.
It
That's
is
the one here.
currently logged at 3.9 on Letterboxd. That's insane to me. That's
Me too.
crazy that this is
Yeah.
eligible for this category.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Just
There are
celebrated its
some
50th. So good.
Yeah,
Mm.
there are some films that I was truly shocked to see like what category they fit in because it was like, wow, that's like way lower than it should like deserves to
Yeah.
be.
Totally.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. I wonder what contributes to that. Like, it feels like, at least in Jaws' case, it is like 30% of these ratings are a 4-star rating, right? Which is like obviously going to bring this average down where only 23% are 5 stars. And then you kind of like toggle between everything else. So the curve is always an interesting thing, especially coming out of a festival, right? And I think, you know, the most notable thing here is the follow-up to Titan that just premiered at Cannes. One of the craziest letterbox curves I've seen out of a festival, maybe ever, and
I
people are
believe
just
it.
gobbling it up. So I don't, crazy times.
I was in the 1-star camp for Alpha, but I
Okay.
talked to people who were in the 5-star camp.
Whoa.
So
Wow, really? Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm in the 4-star category, so I'm one of the higher end of them.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't realize I was talking with a bunch of alpha viewers here. Must be nice. Must be nice, you know?
And
That's
we're
crazy.
and probably sentimental value viewers too. Like that's the one that
Mm.
my heart is at.
Emma,
Unfortunately, the word I know, I
get
know,
ready.
I know,
It is
I
so
know,
good. Yeah.
I know.
Amazing.
Wow.
Unfortunately, my favorite film of all time, Worst Person in the World, is not eligible for this draft. Otherwise, that would have been the first one that I would have snatched up.
That would have been good. Yeah, another sub 1 million. Worst person in the world, 876K.
I know,
That's crazy.
We
crazy.
gotta get it up, Emma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
You guys
I will
gotta
have
start
to
hitting that
log
log
in a million
button.
times. Yeah, we're
Pumping that
gonna
button.
lock in.
Oh boy. Okay. Back to you, Zach.
Oh man. Well, let me see what I have to think. I feel like I've been going more like recent, so or not recent, but maybe go for something
Yeah.
more established and try to
Okay.
I wanna I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah, I was not prepared. Okay, we're gonna go. This is
Being unprepared is part of the fun, you know?
I say all that and then I'm just gonna completely go back against it, which is fine. We're going 3.5, 3.9.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what's gonna work. Jordan Peele's Note, which I think is at
Oh.
3.7. So
Yep.
yeah.
This is what I was
I know.
between. Jaws and Nope.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Right.
So
Which,
to come good
just
on
to-
my prior comment, this is the correct pick, Zach. You have done
This
well.
is-
Good job.
Thank you. I know there's like that in criteria. I'm like, what's the invisible criteria? Good or bad?
Exactly.
No, but this was one where I feel like just repeat viewings, I'm like, just makes it a richer movie because I feel like first seeing it, I'm like, what is this like hot air balloon thing that eats? Like, I don't understand what it's trying to say here right now. And then I'm like, yo, I get it's about spectacle. That's great. I don't know. So I feel like grown to love it more, and I think, yeah, just like when you, and I think even when you were talking about Jaws and just like future movies and all, and what has to do with like history of film, is all just really beautiful. So and just like fun, like launch pad for like I feel like seeing like being like, oh, I want to watch more of like Kiki Palmer's work, you know, like after even because I wasn't as caught up with her filmography or TV work before, or like Brandon Perea and things like that. And apparently Osgood Persons is in this movie too, which I thought was really funny. I totally missed that. So
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, I'm
but
trying
the
to
thing
think
is,
of
people were, like who he
funny.
was,
Yeah,
but everyone was like the Legally Blonde person, right? Is like directing for it. I'm like, no, man, like he was from no. What are you talking? I hadn't seen Legally Blonde yet. So anyway, fun intersection of a lot of things I love, I think. So yeah, no.
Yeah.
I know his latest movie was delayed, so I'm hoping it'll be good. But he has that like football movie that he produced or something. So
producer on that.
Looking forward. Happy he's still working in different capacity. So yeah.
I think it's pretty iconic of you to draft Nope sequentially after I drafted Jaws, two movies that are very much in conversation about the terrors of the unknown and the things that we maybe cannot see and understand. Really interesting pick. My nope is 2 cents is I have it logged as 4 stars because I've only seen it one time, but I own the 4K. In my mind, it's 5 stars. I just can't. I have to like find the time to watch it to like bump it. Barbie Ferreira, like put her in more things, get her to work. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what Barbie's doing these days, but Euphoria did her dirty, and it was great to see her in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Good pick, really good pick. All right, Emma, you have a pick.
I do have a pick. I am going to go and grab the 3 to 3.4 category, and I'm going to go with Frozen. I love that film. So
Nice.
I'm happy to have that one. I know
Nice.
everybody probably got sick of that film because of the song, but she's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment, and she will always be the moment.
Mhm.
When she takes her hair out of the pin and like lets her braid down and her dress changes. But I was an adult when I saw that, but it still affected me like I was 5 years old again.
I know. It's just really like, you know what? I gotta give it to her.
Mhm.
It is 3.4 on Letterboxd. We're kind of out of the Frozen territory in my household. Now we've kind of escalated to other things. But Frozen very much, core text for young girls for sure. And for my daughters. First animated film drafted here, which I think is interesting.
Someone had to do it.
That's true.
Something to note.
Trailblazer doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sophia, you have 2 picks.
Okay. So this is tough because it's like I think taking a risk and just banking on you guys being nice to me with the hard bad category because I don't think you want to tank your teams with those bad movies. I think you want to leave them for me. So I'm gonna I think go to the more crowded categories, but it's just hard to choose because I love so many of these movies. But I think I'm gonna go to the 3.5 to 3.9 category first, and I'm gonna go with one of my favorite like all-time solo directorial debuts, and I think that no one understands a coming of age story maybe better than Greta Gerwig because she knows that it's a story not just about the daughter, but a coming of age story is also about the mom. And that's why Lady Bird is a perfect movie. And I was shocked that it was just a 3.8 because this is a 5 for me.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a 5 for me.
It's a 5-star movie.
I'm so angry with you today. You are taking so
It's
many
all
of the ones that
the girls.
I won.
It's like these
All the
like
girls.
these girl stories. Yeah.
Girl stories, yes.
I mean, I know we joked earlier about like coarse, like American movie texts, but like Lady Bird falls within that. It is like
Totally
deeply encoded into like the American experience of going off to school and the American experience of like Greta Gerwig kind of being like a stand-in for female directors and like the trajectory that they can see. This is a 5-star movie. I can't. Yeah, it's just insane. 3.8 on Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Yeah, it feels low for it.
Yeah.
Far too low.
Put Lucas Hedges in more movies. I guess I heard he's in Sorry Baby. I don't know if any of you have seen Sorry Baby. I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't
seen it yet.
He's in that. Okay.
He is in that, yes.
Cool.
Very not in it enough, but I'm very happy to see him moments.
Love Lucas Hedges. Shout out Tracy Letts, the physical media king, also in Lady Bird.
Mr. Carrie Coon. Love him.
Mr. Carrie Coon.
Mr. Carrie Coon. I love that as of time of recording, I know this will be old news, but I love that the day we recorded, Carrie Coon tweeted, "My husband has submitted the New York Times ballot. Here is his ballot." And like she tweeted it for Tracy, which I think is so funny.
Oh my God.
I love them.
That's so funny.
Love them.
They're great. Okay, that's my way to vamp a little bit while I'm trying to pick my next one.
An A24 movie on the slate.
Yes,
big play.
Big play. Okay.
Love the
Now
movies
I'm
they
like,
direct.
Do I want to go with a movie that I'm obsessed with or that I think will get me votes?
I kind of think Twilight and Lady Bird are like the vote getters, Like I
think so too.
I don't know if you need to worry too much.
We've lost as far as
I think
we're
we've lost.
I'm not.
Okay. So I could go, I think, with a few movies that I think will like just solidify a vote tier. Like there are certainly those, but I have to follow my heart again. And I've talked about how like my movie taste sometimes is just like fancy women behaving badly. And in the 4.0 to 4.4 category, I'll be taking David Fincher's Gone Girl, which has a 4.1 rating.
It's so good.
Oh,
Dang. That's
This
so
is
good.
us.
my favorite David Fincher
Fuck.
movie. No joke. I know that like I mean I love Zodiac too. I love so many of them, but I just like Rosamund Pike doing the cool girl monologue. There are a few things better than that, and I feel like David Fincher is the Amy Dunn, and it's like I think he's such a perfectionist and he understands her, and that's why this movie is so good. And Ben Affleck, like the fact that he cast him also because like there were these stories about him reminding people of Scott Peterson and the Lacey Peterson case. Like it's just there's so much good lore around this movie and I love it. So I'm going with Gone Girl.
That's a great pick.
Damn.
I think
Thank you.
I think
really
that
good
is
pick.
also my favorite Fincher movie. I do love Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So
I
I
love
feel
that
like
too.
it's those two films for me.
Is Gone Girl the best thing Ben Affleck has ever done? As a whole round project.
I mean, well, I've talked about how like for Ben Affleck for me, like what works so well is like this, and I think it's someone at the Ringer, either like Sean Fennessy or Adam Naiman says this too, but like this casting decision of putting Ben Affleck in this role as Nick Dunn is just one of the smartest, like funniest things.
Mhm.
And I mean, I agree with Anne Hathaway. Like this movie feels like a rom-com at times. And I think that's because of Ben Affleck. Like him just
Totally.
like with his shirt tail hanging out, like getting the mint chocolate chip, the way he like drops the cat. He has no idea what's going on ever. So it might be, I think it is it's my favorite performance of his for sure.
Yeah. Shit. You got a really good pick. Damn.
Well, I'm gonna tank it when I get to the low one. So just
I don't know if you
hold still.
can. I think whatever you pick from here on out, like I think people will absolve you. And people will be like, no, it's
good.
not really on our team.
those are so
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Nice. Okay. Emma, we're back to you.
Yes. I am gonna go with also one of my all-time favorite movies, and for the 4 to 4.4 category, I'm gonna pick Black Swan. I love this movie so much.
4 to 4.5 category, you said? Okay.
4 to 4.4. Yeah,
Okay. What movie did you pick again? Sorry.
it's okay. I picked Black Swan with
Black
Natalie
Swan.
Portman.
Ooh.
I
This is a good pick.
God, I can't even count how many times I've watched this movie. I adore her in this role. I love the dancing. I just love the psychological thriller aspects, just the losing touch with reality. Like it's so good. I adore it. I as much as you love fancy women like having fun.
Mhm.
I love gorgeous women losing touch with reality. Like that's my
That
favorite.
is that is this. This is a fancy girl having a breakdown.
Yeah,
That's what we like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fancy women having
Mhm.
fun, having a breakdown. It's an
Mhm.
amazing category to be in.
A huge 5-star contingent for this movie. Nearly 750,000 5-star ratings at 33% of the curve. So
And I am
It's-
like 15 of them.
yeah, it is up there. This is man, this is a really good movie. Okay, one of the few Aronofsky movies that I actually like. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. He can be really hit or miss, and this is a hit. Certified hit.
It is a certified hit.
Natalie's
fact.
so good in this.
So good.
I love my
She won.
girl.
She won an Oscar for this. No.
She won
Mhm.
an Oscar for it.
Okay. Good.
Oh,
Happy to see that.
yeah.
Okay. Frozen to Black Swan. That's quite a flex in your
The
drafting
duality of
strategy
women.
there.
What can I
It
say?
really is. It really is. Very well done. Yeah. Okay, Zach, you have a pick.
Yes, let me see here. I guess keeping on, the theme of spectrum of girlhood and womanhood, I feel like in the 4 to 4.4 category, I actually saw this for the first time last year when they re-released it, and I think it was in 3D or just in cinemas, and like I had avoided it for a long time because I was really scared of it. Still am scared of it, but only but like love it all the more. I want to go with Coraline. So,
Oh,
and I think
nice.
that's
Ooh.
4.2. So yeah, which like I guess I know on the lower end of 4 to 4.4, but I feel like when I just think about like the animation, I feel like Dakota Fanning is like like it's so like spunky and just so kind of like I don't know, like I feel like there's just a like a confidence that emanates from her character just throughout that I just found really kind of captivating and endearing. I don't know, and just like button imagery and all of that, and like
Mhm.
gardens and what it means to like I guess like what liberation means and freeing people, and even if you're I don't know. There's like a I was just like thinking about it more having seen it. So and like animated film always really good. So I'll have that.
I love Coraline. That's a great pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
good
Coraline.
pick.
Coraline's huge in our household right now. My wife is
Yeah.
obsessed with Coraline. We recently went to the Funko headquarters in near Seattle, and they had every Coraline Funko in stock, and we purchased all of them. So they are around our home. She has Coraline earrings. She has a Coraline tattoo.
Wow.
She will probably vote for you, Zach. Trouble
That's
is
on this
she doesn't
pick.
vote. She's not on socials. So sorry. I'll let her know. That
I was
she
gonna
should create
say
a Twitter for you.
I know just for that, so she can speak her
Mhm.
opinion.
Good pick. Good idea. Switching it up on the animation. I am at that point in my team as well. I've got The Last Jedi, Goodfellas, and Jaws. We need to get some women on the team. We need to we need to explore some other stories. All right. So what have I got left? 3.0 to 3.4. I got to make sure I'm working with the right material here. Not a great swath of woman-centric narratives in this category here. So I'm not feeling really good about that. Well, I don't want another Star Wars movie. I think Saltburn's terrible,
It's
which leaves me adrift here. It's really like not a lot of good things here. Have you guys all
That's
drafted
why
this
I went
category?
here first. That's why I went here first because I just
yeah,
was like, I don't really know what to
Mm,
choose. Like, it just felt
yeah.
like really limited compared to
okay.
the ones we discussed. But yeah, it was like the
Mhm,
next one
mhm.
up.
So you guys all have drafted here. Interesting. Maybe I'll punt this. Because I mean, why not? Okay, so I'm going to go 4.0 to 4.4. We're going to mix it up a little bit. Sophia, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How are you so ready for your picks every time it comes around? Because I'm like, oh no, I have 2 picks, and then I start to panic, and I don't know what to do.
I'm not ready. That's why I started talking about Carrie Coon because I just was like, what am I gonna
Sure.
do for the second one?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I was debating. I was like, do I go with Gone Girl or do I go with something else? That was like the deeper categories are always tougher because there are so many good ones to choose from.
That's true.
I didn't hear anything that you said. I'm just looking at this list. So if you could just honestly keep going.
I'll keep vamping.
I'm not in a great spot. Not in a great spot. I
It
gotta find a
is.
movie.
Yeah, it's tough to find. I am still thinking of what I'm gonna take in my like low category because I don't know, like I might violate the
Oh yeah,
rule
you
and
still
pick
have
something
that.
I haven't seen.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That could really decimate your team. That could be bad.
I don't know. I don't know about it. I We'll see what happens.
Some new films available in this 4.0 to 4.4 category that I just like did not anticipate to be eligible, which I think is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really good things here. Black Swan, of course, taken. Coraline taken. Gone Girl taken. Shoot, that would have been a really good pick. I guess it's off the board. So I'm gonna be taking in 4.0 to 4.4. Let's take. Fuck. Why is this so difficult? It's because my team's broed out, and I don't like that vibe
Just keep
that
growing
I've
out.
accumulated here.
You can do it.
It's No, I don't think that's the right way. I don't think
Yeah,
that's the way to go. I don't.
I don't
I
know.
don't think
This says
so.
something about your listener base, who are the movie
If
draft pod, what do they like,
right, if I bro out for my last three picks, now that you've arisen this possibility, if I do choose to do that, and I do in fact amass a substantial amount of votes, I don't know what the takeaway from that is, and I'm not sure that I want to find out. So that's
Fair.
troublesome. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the David Fincher well. I'm gonna pick something that sticks out as a little bit different for my team, a genre and a style of filmmaking I haven't really got yet. I'm gonna be taking Zodiac.
Nice.
4.0. So it qualifies for this 4.0 to 4.4. I think arguably you mentioned Gone Girl being your favorite Fincher. I think Zodiac, arguably the best Fincher, but I think, you can play this game all day long with his movies. It is kind of unreal how good all three of these guys are in this movie. And I know that I had mentioned potentially drafting a film that was female centric. This movie is about men hunting a murderer. So I went the other direction and did choose to bro out a little bit. I love what Fincher does in this movie.
It's fine.
It's so hard to look at this and not pick it. You know what I mean? So, okay. Now that we've arrived on one of my picks, I guess we can go for the other pick and do this all over again. I've got let's just do it because I'm not feeling prepared enough to take my wild card. I feel like that needs a little bit more preparation. So I'm going to go 3.0 to 3.4. We're going to go back to this well here, even though I said I'd kick the can. And for this, let's take... There's some animated movies over here. You know what? I feel like The Hive is strong. I feel like this is getting a reclamation. People love this film. I'm going to be taking Spider-Man 3. It's got a 3.1. Arguably, maybe the worst set of actors to ever encounter each other on a single film. But you know what? It worked out. It gave us Spider-Man 3. And that's kind of all we needed, Haven't seen this movie in a while, but I remember loving Spider-Man 3. I'll take it.
Did you catch it when it re-released in theaters? Yeah.
I did not catch it when it was re-released in theaters, unfortunately. I saw Spider-Man 2 when it was released in theaters. Not applicable for this category, I don't think. And if it was, then I fucked up.
I think it's higher. I think I remember looking at that.
Oh, it is. It is substantially higher. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That could have been an all-timer mistake.
Yeah.
No, I just Spider-Man 3 has kind of crossed the Rubicon into kitschy, niche, it's so bad it's good kind of a thing. And there's a lot of proponents for this movie out there. So, another movie about a guy going through some troubles. You'll love to see it. Okay. I bought myself some more time for the wild card pick. Okay, Zach, you have a pick.
I do. I think I have two more categories, which is either 4.5 to 5 or wild card. So I think also still thinking through wild card. So I think for my 4.5 to 5, which there are a lot here. This was all, I think this is what we were saying earlier. With the top ones, there's a decent amount and love a lot. But that's what I'm happy because I have for example, I have not seen The Godfather still, and I have not seen Goodfellas. I would picking those, which I feel like I know those are well loved, but it wouldn't feel right if I didn't, since I hadn't seen them. So I'm happy that they were picked by people who value them and have seen it. But one that I do feel like I can go out on was, I think, I want to make sure I'm saying the right one, even though I think they're all pretty high, but it's the third, what is it? Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. So I feel like it, as a culmination. I mean, one, just so it's clear, extended edition is my preferred viewing method. Okay. I think it should be the only way, but I understand,
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
People may not have 4 hours.
Can I ask a Letterboxd technicality question on this then? Because there are, of course, extended editions. There are director's cuts. I think famously the most recent one, Napoleon, came out with a director's cut that was substantially longer than the original theatrical cut. Letterboxd does not offer a differentiation. Is that correct? So like the only Return of the King you can log is the one that they have. You can't choose the extended?
That's it is funny because I feel like unless it was something like, like Zack Snyder's Justice League or something, where it's like I guess it
Right.
is like a different, like longer. I don't know, but you're right. I don't know. I guess in that
Hmm.
sense, like why did that get a different?
Okay.
Sometimes it's weird though. Like I feel like I was able to. I mean, this is gonna make me seem like a complete Snyder head, which is maybe somewhat true in terms of the movies I've seen. Not that I agree with everything, but like there was a point where I was able to log both of the director's Rebel Moon cuts, and then I think they
Oh,
just reverted back to normal. I don't know. It
day
just
one
says something that I've
Snyderhead. Look
seen
at
out.
you.
Yeah, I've seen four. Yeah, that'll be in my tombstone. This guy saw four versions of Rebel Moon and did not
Oh
see the
my
Godfather.
God.
Is going to be
Oh
the
my
what's
gosh.
going to be said, but
Madness.
that's okay. I have to accept it. But that's a good point, Ethan. But I will say I don't know. More people in my life, like friends, are watching it for the first time, which is really cool. And
Mm,
one of the things I realized about this is like I haven't actually ever seen these movies on the big screen. Like, and I'm
mm.
like
Mhm.
now I'm like hungry for like the next anniversary. I know they've been re-released a couple. I think even last year there was probably re-release of the movies, but I'm like I want to watch. I feel like watching on the big screen would be like a culmination of it. I saw the Hobbit movies on the big screen, but those are,
Mm.
as we can tell by this list, have not stayed the same in the cultural zeitgeist in the same way. I think, but yeah, so
Yeah,
many quotables. Lord of the Rings.
it's a good pick. It's got 4.5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you said is right about this cultural zeitgeist of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It is like remarkable what was achieved with this trilogy of films, and I loathe to think about what movie going and I guess IP and blockbuster storytelling would be like if these films had not had that level that they do have. Um, I very much like you. I'd love to see these on the big screen. I did not like grow up with these movies. I didn't read the books. I was introduced to them late. I think that would be a really neat experience. A great pick though. Okay, Emma, you have a pick.
Um, I am gonna do the 3.5 to 3.9 category. I'm gonna have fun with this one, and I'm gonna pick a film from last year that just every
Oh
time
no.
Don't
this
do
scene
it.
comes on, I have to watch it on Twitter, and it's Challengers. I
Oh,
need this movie.
Yes.
I was gonna
Of
Wow.
take
course.
this. Oh man. Okay.
So good.
I'm
So good.
sorry.
No, it's all right. It's a great pick.
Oh,
That's
it's
incredible.
such a fun time. Literally every time I see the match point scene, I'm like, all right, I gotta lock in for two
Yeah.
minutes or
Yeah.
however long
Lock
the
in.
clip is. Like I cannot not see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Challengers 5-star movie. So good.
5-star movie, yes.
It's a
What is the
3.9
rating
on
like?
Letterboxd.
Okay,
So it's a
still
3.9 on
very low.
Letterboxd. It's got 20% of its ratings are 5 stars, 15% are 4.5, and 29, so essentially 30% are 4 stars. So I mean, you're looking at 65% of reviews are over 4 stars or over, which is really interesting that this averages out to be a 3.9.
Yeah,
And I
that
do
is
think that
really
like
interesting.
strictly comes from the amount of logs that this has had 2.5 million views on Letterboxd. Yeah, not a lot to be said about Challengers that hasn't already been said, but I will continue this theme and idea of like the cultural zeitgeist from Lord of the Rings to Challengers. It's really remarkable how Challengers kind of stuck its flag in the ground and basically everything that now involves a love triangle, people are like, well, it's so Challengers coded. It's been
Mhm.
happening for 60 years in movies, guys. It is not a new thing that we are exploring here, and it's been going on for a very long time. But I think it's really, I genuinely think it's very good. I also think it's very funny that people are like, well, it's stemmed right from Challengers. It's like it's pulled from the 1960s. But yeah, it's cool, guys. Challengers
Mhm.
for the win. So that's pretty fun. If you were Tashi, are you? What's going on? What decision are you making? You Art? What do you, Patrick? Who are you going for?
I still debate this a little bit. I mean,
Mhm.
I like Art because seems to have more stability in his life. But I mean, Patrick is he's just Patrick.
Yeah. I'm a Patrick. I would pick Patrick
I
through and
got you.
through. Like no hesitation.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
Josh O'Connor. It's Patrick for me.
Mhm.
Just the smirk that he gives at the
It's
during match
it's
point
In
is
the
just
Too
like,
match
good.
point.
oh,
Too good.
it's too
I gotta
good.
he's
rewatch
taking
Challengers
it.
tonight. Shit.
It's
What about you,
fire.
Zach? Where you going? Who you picking?
I'm,
Art, Patrick?
you know, I am because well, Sophia, did you catch the what is it? Either History of Sound or Mastermind? That's I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw.
I saw
Okay,
I saw both of them. I
okay,
really liked The Mastermind a lot, but I love Kelly Reichardt. So like
yeah.
if she's making a movie,
Nice.
I tend to really like it, but in it had Josh O'Connor and Alana
Right.
Haim. I thought it was great.
See, I missed that. I did not plan my tickets to leaving the
Well, it
time, so
was
I
the
missed that
last
one.
day
But
too.
I
So it's
know, yeah,
tricky.
it's such a
Yeah.
weird. I was like, we ended with Honeydale. I'm like, all right, well, that's fine.
Oh, we'll
But
forget
regardless,
about that. That's
we'll
fine.
forget about that. But I'll just say I mentioned that only because I feel like I'm biased, but I feel like having seen like Rebuilding, Sundance, or seeing,
Mhm.
you know, his like going back to watching Josh's other stuff, I feel like I just I'm feeling more of a Patrick just because like I don't know. There's more. Not Mike is great though, so I don't want to not put as an actor.
Mhm.
Although I guess we're talking about characters still, but I don't know. I'm with you, Sophia, on the Patrick thing. So.
Rebuilding was a really, really good movie. I think that one was my favorite from Sundance this year, and
Yeah,
yeah, he has an amazing performance in that film.
right. And it's hard for me to not be like these are just different lives that Patrick has lived before becoming a tennis player in shot. In my head canon, it's all like the
Right.
same person. You know
It's all
what
the
I mean?
same character.
Mhm.
That's all there. So,
Well, and
so,
he has an American
I love
accent in
that.
both too, like in Challenger. So it's like they do kind of all
oh, you're
blur.
right. I
Yeah.
didn't think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's so right.
He's just a cat with
Wow.
9 lives every time
Mhm.
he's just taken over a new American persona.
Yeah.
Dang.
Every time pops up. Mhm, cool.
Yeah. I choose Patrick. We can leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Challenger is a great pick. Crazy that it applies to this list. Okay. Sophia, you're gonna be the first to round out your team. You have back-to-back picks here.
Yeah. I was gonna pick Challengers for my wild card just because it felt
Mm.
like a wild card. It was just like, okay, it has to be on the board somewhere. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have it.
Yes.
I'm glad someone has it. I think I'm gonna just because I don't want it to be my last pick. I think that I'm gonna go to our rough category here, our 2.5 to 2.9. And I would
Mhm.
love a little bit of assistance because I just want to clarify. My
Okay.
only eligible films here are Suicide Squad, Thor, Iron Man 2, and the worst Star Wars, possibly.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's it?
That's
Well,
right.
I don't believe that Attack of the Clones qualifies because it is at a 3.0.
Oh, okay.
So it
Well,
would
then
find
that
itself
even
outside of this
And
category.
That
was
takes it
makes
down
Sui
further. Okay.
was Suicide Squad maybe below 2.5?
I think, yeah, Suicide
Oh,
Squad
well,
might not
this
even
is
be eligible.
Doesn't apply. Okay,
ooh.
so
Cool.
Suicide Squad's got a
I wasn't
2.8.
gonna
So
pick it.
you've
This
got
was one of the
Thor
worst movies I've seen. So,
and Iron Man 2. That's literally
okay.
all that you can pick for this category.
Now,
Oh,
all
I
right.
didn't realize.
Here is my response, and this is why I'm picking it. And I have seen both of these movies, so I'm not cheating, so I'm not breaking any rules or anything. I am picking Thor because Natalie Portman is in it.
Yes,
I was gonna
exactly the
say
reason I
yes.
was going to say.
Yes.
Literally,
That's my
if you did
reason.
not pick this, yeah, that's wow.
That is
incredible.
the reasoning. I think I will
That's
just
amazing.
stop there.
That's amazing. I'm literally looking at the two posters and I'm like, well, one of these movies has Natalie Portman and the other one doesn't. So that's a pretty clear choice.
There we go.
That was my in the line of films that I would have. The
Mhm.
reason for that one was just NP.
Yep.
That's all
That's
the reason I
great.
needed.
And she, that's it.
So funny.
Okay.
Wow.
My
Yeah,
wild
it didn't even register that Suicide Squad was not applicable for this category.
That's
I would have
hilarious.
considered it because
That's
of the
so
whole
bad.
the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn side of things, which I think is like
Mhm.
deserves its own conversation. But wow, that's crazy. Okay.
I checked it right before we started because I was like, is it really only 4 films that are eligible for this last
So it really
category? And it's
was.
become Yeah, and I clicked on Suicide Squad and I was like, "Yep, they are only 4."
There's only four. Oh, I hadn't. That's so funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, for the wild card, it's like there's so many movies I can take. The whole board is open to me. This is crazy. Oh,
I I will help. I'll help you vamp a little bit. How about this? Because
okay,
we
yeah.
are all entering our wild card territory here. We
Yes.
all need to draft a
Amazing.
wild card. So I'm looking at my list, and personally, I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26 movies out of the 200 on this list that I have personally given 5 stars that apply for a wild card. That's just a swath of gold right there.
It is.
It
That
is
is a
a
lot.
lot of really good things to choose from.
Yeah,
That's all.
it is. You know, I think I'm just going to go with this because I'm just going to pick it. I'm just going to go for it and not vamp any longer because there are so many great movies here. But this pick is timely because today we got some rather unfortunate news.
Mhm.
I
And
think I know
that
where you're going.
news is that Aaron Sorkin will be writing and directing The Social Network Part 2.
Oof.
And to me, The Social Network is a perfect film because of when it came out, I think, and just what it captured in the zeitgeist. We've talked about that a lot, but it just felt like a really prescient, really clear movie. And it felt like, Aaron Sorkin's great walk and talk dialogue with
Mhm.
Fincher's super precise direction. The Reznor Ross score is perfect. Love the
Mhm.
performances. Andrew Garfield robbed, should have gotten an Oscar nomination. Eisenberg's perfect as Zuckerberg. And I feel like we need to just leave it as it is and just
Yeah.
appreciate it for the movie that it is. So I'm going to go with The Social Network as my wild card.
I have a lot of feelings about that news, and the first and foremost feeling, besides agreeing with you about the fact of who is directing this film, is
Yeah.
really just like not an ideal way to like stain a 15-year legacy of a film. Like
Yeah.
it's not. It'll now forever be in conversation with part 2, and it's like,
Mhm.
damn, we really did have it all. That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the news that they thought people like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's the news they thought that it was. I think
I
they
don't think so either.
at least like we're gonna come out with this news and people are gonna be like, Social Network 2, let's go. And
Right.
everybody's
They're
like,
going to be like, oh, we
fuck
love The
off.
Social Network. We're so excited to come back to this. I think people probably thought it was similar to the reaction to the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel, the
yeah.
Cliff Booth story, because that's, of course, like Fincher's attached to that, though. And people were excited about that just because it was so unexpected and felt so crazy. But this just doesn't feel right. I don't want it. I love The Social Network.
Yeah. I wonder when this episode drops, I wonder what the discourse will be, if any, about this news, if people will still be a little bit on edge about it, or what we might know by the time that it comes around.
Well, it's interesting because when you were saying Sophia about the community, I thought the news you were going to talk about was Denis Villeneuve was directing the new
I-
Bond.
New
So-
Bond,
Yeah.
baby.
That
So I
also
was
am
like, she picking
Yeah.
Dune Part 2 right now. So it's like,
No, I mean, that news is also
But-
like, I'm not super high on that news just because I grew up with the really silly Bond movies. So Bond to me is like campy, silly, not serious, but we will see how it goes.
yes,
But yeah, wild that he's doing it.
I was going to say, lots of big news day. It seems like they're trying to
Yeah.
one up each other in
Big
terms
news
of,
day.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, for at least for today's
Crazy.
recording. But yeah.
Okay, Sophia, you finished your team. Congratulations on your likely victory. Emma, you
I
have
love my
a
team.
pick here.
Yeah, I know. At this point, it's like, it doesn't even matter. Sophia's one.
Yeah.
For my wild card, I am also gonna go with just what I think is a perfect film. That's Interstellar. Absolutely love this
Oh,
Christopher Nolan
interesting.
film. I think Matthew McConaughey was robbed, as you said, for who was robbed. Last time I watched this film, I just bawled like a baby. The first few times I feel like when you watch the film, maybe you don't fully understand the gravity and the weight of it all, and obviously the inner workings of this film, but it really just does boil down to a dad who wants to get back home to see his kids again. And is there anything more sweet than that? And yeah, I
Mhm.
was just crying. I was thinking about Christopher Nolan and how he probably feels guilty for how he's probably far away from home with his kids, and I was a mess. I was like, I can't do this right now. But amazing film. It deserved way more than it got at that time, but I'm happy that it seems like people collectively now can understand that this is an amazing film. I do think it's far
Mhm.
too low though on the New York Times list of best films of the 21st century. I think it was
Hmm.
like in the 80s or 90s.
Okay. Interesting.
This movie makes me weep. I like
Yeah.
fully cry uncontrollably at the ending.
It doesn't seem like Ethan you're a fan of this film based on your reaction.
Um, I'm I'm famously pretty cold on Interstellar.
I
Look, I
see.
still have it at 3.5 stars, and I like yes, the story of like a dad who wants to get home to his daughter. I get it. I did like recently rewatch it, like within the last year, and I kind of
Mhm.
walked away with the same take, which is like Christopher Nolan unfortunately gets in his own way a lot, and I think Interstellar is like the prime example of that. If this movie didn't have like the last 25 minutes where we're like on the like the future of what is happening and like the farm and all of that, I genuinely like perfect film, like almost maybe one of the best ever. But it just loses me. But I have been contemplating a reevaluation of Interstellar because in 2 weekends, my local rep theater is showing a 70 millimeter print. I've never seen Interstellar
Ooh.
on
Mm.
film. I feel like if there was any moment to come around on Interstellar, it would be for a film print in a packed house at a rep theater.
You
So I'm
should do
considering it.
that,
I feel like you guys are
definitely.
saying I should do that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
That'd
so.
be great.
Okay.
that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
The plan is they're both showing on Saturday, July 5th, and so Interstellar would be the first movie of a doubleheader, and then I will go see Boogie Nights at 9:45 at night that night as well. So
Fun.
sounds like
Nice.
a pretty good doubleheader to me. You guys just locked it up. Thanks so much.
Love it.
Okay, good pick. You'll have a lot of Nolan heads out here. Holy cow! All
Woo.
right, Zach, what do you got for wild card, man?
Ooh, man, I know. Similarly, so many good
Mm-hmm.
films, and I feel like this is kind of one where I was like, if I were to like have to build my New York Times like list right now, where would I go? And I feel like thinking not to keep mentioning like festival films, but it's just like hard for me to not think about them in conversation. I think Sophia, I'm curious, did you watch Seurat at all when you were at
No,
Cannes
I
at all?
missed
Or no?
it.
Okay.
That was one that it just like the timing and the ticketing didn't work out. So I'm hopefully it'll come to New York Film Festival and I'll see it then.
Recommend for everyone. It's good. I feel like, but like the idea of like desert plus cars plus road trip movie has just been like a theme I've been chewing on a lot. So I feel like when you throw that into the movie generator, the movie that spits out is Mad Max Fury Road. And so
Yes.
it's that's the one I'll go for. I feel like I mean one of those movies where I think it's funny when you were talking about like social network and how it'll always be in conversation with this part two if it comes out or when it comes out. I feel like when I think about like Fury Road and of course Furiosa, but just like I don't know, like the idea of like car movies as like
Mm-hmm.
a subgenre and like what Fury Road is doing with that of like driving and destinations and just like it just being a fun action, high octane adrenaline movie is great. So I'm very pro this movie and hope George Miller gets to revisit the wasteland as much as the Australian government is willing to fund his projects. So I hope that, and I hope that's for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. This is a great pick, Mad Max Fury Road, a classic. Speaking of doubleheaders, I watched Furiosa in IMAX and immediately came home and watched Fury Road, and that was like the greatest 4.5 hours of my life. It's pretty unbeatable stuff. Okay. Really good pick. We've had some banger wildcard picks, and I feel like the pressure is mounting, and I will probably let it out, unfortunately. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going with my heart, and I'm picking the only movie that I really could pick in this situation. I'm going to be picking La La Land. I'm gonna get a
I
musical
knew
on the
I knew
board.
you would have it in one way or another.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Here's to the Fools Who Dream. This is really the movie that solidified that I just love to fucking feel obliterated at movies, like when I watch film. And I think everybody kind of takes that away from this movie. Of course, it kind of has had its ups and downs with culture and people accepting this film. I still think it's a perfect movie. I think this movie will forever be really, really special to me. So I think it's good for my team too. Get a musical on the board, get some Gosling, get some Emma Stone, Damien Chazelle, all good components.
Yeah. La La Land was on my list of wildcard options too. And it was in my, what is that one? In the 4.0 to 4.4 category.
Yeah.
I love La La Land. I was in school in Vermont when it came out, and it was freezing, like below zero every day for a month. And I saw La La Land like maybe 5 times in theaters because it was there and it made me happy and it made me like feel everything. And I just loved the music and Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling together. So yeah, I know people don't like it, but I will always love it.
Yeah, that's hilarious that you mentioned that, because La La Land is the first movie I ever saw multiple times in theaters. I saw it 3 times over 3 days, and I, of course, that was like in 2016. That was before I did this, and so that was like real psychopath behavior, where it's like, oh my god, I can go see a movie again. That's crazy. So yeah, pretty good stuff. I do have a very special to me, like limited edition print of the score on like a blue vinyl, on like a baby blue. That was like a limited edition thing, which is pretty nice. So I like that. Okay. We've done it. We've completed the Letterboxd draft here on the Movie Draft Podcast. I feel like a pretty successful endeavor. I feel like teams kind of varied in their styles and narrative features. So let's go through our lists, mention the movie in the category, and maybe we can just do a few honorable mentions to kind of see what was still available on the board, because of course there were still like a lot of really pivotal movies that could have been drafted. So with the first overall pick in the 2.5 to 2.9, I picked Star Wars The Last Jedi. In 4.5 to 5.0, I picked Goodfellas. 3.5 to 3.9, I picked Jaws. 4.0 to 4.4, I got Zodiac. 3.0 to 3.4, I picked Spider-Man 3. And for wildcard, I picked La La Land. Zach, you want to read your team?
Yes, I can. So just going descending. For my 4.5 to 5, I picked Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. For my 4 to 4.4, I picked Coraline. And then 3.5 to 3.9, Nope. 3 to 3.4, Glass Onion. And then 2.5 to 3, Doctor Strange, and then Multiverse of Madness. And my wild card was Mad Max Fury Road.
I didn't even notice that you drafted in categorical order. Really impressive work, Zach. Really, really well done. I don't know if that's ever been done.
I think. Oh, I was just reading it in the order. I actually forget. I feel like I started from the bottom and might have jumped, but we'll see.
No, you started from the bottom and you went all the way to the top. You went in sequential rating order. That is magnificent what you've achieved here on the draft. Well done.
Regardless of the outcome, I'm like, I won in my heart because I followed
exactly.
the path. So,
Emma, why don't you read your team for us?
In 4.5 to 5.0, I got Parasite. 2.5 to 2.9, I have Captain Marvel. 3.0 to 3.4, Frozen. 4.0 to 4.4, Black Swan. 3.5 to 3.9, Challengers. And for wildcard, I have Interstellar.
Solid. Sophia, what's your team?
For 4.5 to 5.0, I have The Godfather. In 3.0 to 3.4, I have Twilight. 3.5 to 3.9, Lady Bird. 4.0 to 4.4, Gone Girl. 2.5 to 2.9, Thor. And my wild card is The Social Network.
Pretty good teams all the way around. I stand by that. I think, Sophia, I think you drafted the strongest out of all of us.
I think so.
It's a fun team. I really like my team, but I think we all have movies on our boards with pretty serious fans.
Yeah.
I think.
I feel like Zach's team is going to cast the widest net, in terms of people that are interested in hyper specific movies on that team. So yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. Let's do a couple honorable mentions before we get out of here. And wrap the draft. Zach, do you have any honorable mentions that you want to toss out that were not drafted?
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot. I was thinking about it from like even our A24 podcast episode.
Mm.
Ones that were from there, like carryovers, want to diversify. But I feel like everything, everywhere, all at once, amazing. Really enjoy. I feel like Shawshank Redemption was my favorite movie for a long time, and then it's still up there. I think in my top 10. But like that was one I enjoyed, and then I'm trying to. There was one more. Oh, Big Hero 6. That's like a soft spot that I hold a lot of love for too. I was like, that was that or Nope, and I was like, that's what it was tough to decide.
Two extremes.
Very different films.
I was like, that's why we like Coraline. I'm like, that's my animated.
Split the difference.
So yeah.
Big Hero 6, notably the first ever steelbook that I owned. Shout out to my grandma hooking it up. The Big Hero 6 steelbook from eBay. Really cool. Emma, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yes, I was very seriously considering Shrek 2. Love that movie so much. It's a great film.
Fun.
I think it has a 4.1, which I'm very, very happy about that. We had Barbie, we had Little Women as possible picks. I was also thinking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. So yeah, there were a lot of really good movies. And thankfully this list had so many faves of mine.
Yeah, some great picks. Sophia, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I thought about going with some older films. My list skewed a bit newer, I think, but like The Silence of the Lambs, I love. The Shining, I thought about picking for wild card. Same with Alien. I think those are like great horror movies that are options. I also just straight up thought about taking Oppenheimer for the votes. Like that was one that I considered. Greta Gerwig's movies, of course. I love Joe Wright's Pride and Prejudice, so I also considered that, and then some animated films too. I was thinking about taking Ratatouille, which is my favorite Pixar, or my favorite Wes Anderson, Fantastic Mr. Fox. So those were all options, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty diverse cast here on this list. I think a couple that were not mentioned that I think should be out there: Midsommar and Hereditary, of course, two A24 horror staples. Big here on this list. You mentioned animation. I want to give a shout to Soul. I think a perfect animated film that I think it's kind of underrated and underseen. Call Me by Your Name on this list. Really interesting. It's got a 3.9, which I find fascinating. Movie I just visited for the first time in preparation for the Timothée Chalamet collaborative draft a while ago. Incredible stuff. The Substance is on here, which was fascinating and riveting to me. And then I got to give a shout to Mamma Mia. I watch Mamma Mia probably once every other day. I have indoctrinated my children young, fortunately, and they are obsessed with Mamma Mia, as am I. And we listen to the soundtrack in the car constantly. And so it's a great time with Mamma Mia. Hopefully one day the Meryl Streep collaborative draft will commence. She's got a deep filmography. We got to bake in the prep time.
Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. One of my all-time favorites. I didn't see it on the list though. I don't think it's at 2 million yet.
So I just bought the 4K of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again at my local used joint. I have the disc, and we are planning at time of recording this Saturday, family movie night. We're going to be watching Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. So I'm thrilled.
I like a baby watching that
I can't
movie.
wait. My daughters and I are so entrenched in Mamma Mia lore that I have told them, like, hey, a third Mamma Mia is happening. Like, they're making it. Like, what do you think it's going to be about? And like, we have literally taken entire 25-minute car drives, albeit we haven't seen Here We Go Again, so we don't know the narrative of that. But like,
oh my gosh,
to plan out the potential narrative of the third Mamma Mia and what might happen from a storytelling perspective, and my 7-year-old is locked the fuck in. And I can't wait to see that movie in theaters with her when she's inevitably 12 when they make this movie. So I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, a lot of good things here. Last shout, both Avatars on this list. Really interesting to note. Really interesting. Okay. I think we had a pretty successful draft here for the Letterboxd Draft. A really fun draft. Hopefully the first of many Letterboxd themed drafts. We'll see. Full circle in the conversation about niche and micro genre lists. There's a lot of things out there. So, maybe we incorporate some of those lists into some future drafts that we have here on the pod. Thank you all so much for drafting with me. This was a delight and a pleasure. Emma, if people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
Well, thank you for having me on again. This was really fun. I loved everybody's picks on here. So now, unfortunately, we all have to be enemies because we have to fight
Yeah.
for our wins. You can find me on Twitter at Ema_Sasic, on Letterboxd and Instagram at Ema Sasic, and then you can find my reviews and interviews at expresspicture.com.
And you can find Emma winning awards, by the way. No big deal. Just out here being one of the best. Incredible stuff. Sophia, if people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Sophia_Sim, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at Sophia Sim. You can find my podcast, Oscar Wild, wherever you listen to podcasts. We cover Oscar retrospectives, all sorts of good stuff, and then reviews from Cannes and more just reviews, interviews, and podcasts at Awards Watch.
Nice. Yes, good content all the way around. Zach, if people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
Yeah, no, it was so fun to be on again. You can find me on Twitter at Zacharoni22, Letterboxd Lee729, and then Blue Sky. I think it's same thing, Lee729 or Zachary Lee. And a lot of my mainly freelance for a bunch of places, but I think big ones are providetribute.com. So that's where you can find us with that reviews and interviews. So.
Yeah, definitely check out everybody's work all the way around. Super exciting stuff. I'm just here, at the podcast. I'm just being another white guy with a movie pod, just trying to put in the work and really, really get out there and make a name. Thanks to Ben and Sophie for not being here, I guess, and for creating this pod. It's been a great time. And I will just reiterate one more time, we're living in a weird timeline where we don't know the part 2 of the top 25 of the 21st century, and it's really eating me up inside. What I know at this point in time, this will not be true when this movie releases, but Ben and Sophie are not happy. They are not happy with what we have situated for the part 1. And so I'm nervous how part 2 will go. Let's see how I sound in the future and the past whenever those episodes come out. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are also now on YouTube with videos, so be sure to subscribe to us over there and check us out. New episodes will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.